Sif Beis. Okay. All right. We're going to have a little bit of a difficult time here today with these halachas because there's like exceptions and added halachas and have to make a little bit of, work to justify everything that's happening over here. So I don't know how much detail we can get involved in. But the basic concept, which we said and we're going to reiterate probably many times, that on Chol Hamoed there is an Isser of Malacha, like Lamites Malachas, and that has nothing to do with calories of energy being expended. And then there's an aspect of involvement which has to do with Tircha, and then there's an aspect of Umnis which has to do with specialized work. So notice there are a variety of hurdles that have to be overcome in order to allow something to be done. So we said, Be'etzem really... Huh? I didn't hear what you said.
No, isn't this part of the core of what a malacha is?
No. I'll just use an example. Striking a match. Yechiel.
I was thinking of Kaisha.
I know that. I know what you were thinking, and that's why I answered what I answered. In other words, a malacha means a accomplishment, and it possibly has to be done in a professional way. But I'll use an example, which I'll show. I think that this is I don't think you can get a better example than this. Soiser, Almanas Livnois, is a malacha. Is there a professional way to be soiser? Perhaps. But you could be soiser in an improfessional way and also be Almanas. You understand?
Discuss all of this down the line is Rabbi Y.Y. Rubenstein.
Okay, that wasn't me. I feel like I'm challenged. Anyways, okay, but yeah, the concept exists, but it doesn't have to be necessarily so. And there actually is, I think that there's a bit of a machlekes about this issue too. But not everything. This is what we discussed. There's a concept in halacha which is called meleches shihui, a malacha that takes paying attention to do it. Certain things are, you understand? And sometimes we can have malachas that are done, they're professional malachas, and you can do them without being professional. And I'll just give you an example of that, which is like a fascinating thing, which we mentioned it, taking a rubber stamp and writing with it. You wrote letters. To write letters is professional. Right? So you could sometimes do something which is a malacha that's called a professional malacha without being a professional. Right? Okay? Did we take care of you? Yechiel, did we take care of you?
Yes.
Okay. Happy to hear that. Okay. Anyways, so now when we're discussing over here, we said really you should be able to wash your clothing on Chol Hamoed because it's Chol Hamoed, it's a betzim shei mutter, but we penalized you because we want you to be doing it in advance, etc. That we discussed last time. And washing clothes is a job. Now, I admit that there are those that can say that nowadays washing clothes is not a job. All you do is press a button. And that's possibly discussed, but etzem, it's a job. Now, there are certain things which are easily washed. And the next halacha we're going to talk about are when we have two things that come together to allow it to be done. It's something that's easily washed, and they also get dirty often, and therefore people are always washing them. So, B'etzem, it should be mutter. And B'etzem, if you're prepared, you'd have to wash them. and being that it's not a tircha to do it, so then it's mutter. So that's called a run-on sentence. We just said a run-on sentence, and that's the appreciation of the next halacha, which we're going to see. Kli pishton mutter lechabson taf kuf lamedalet sif beis. Linen begadimar is mutter to wash them. V'loy nagu ken. V'havlei dvarim hamutarim b'acheim nagu b'hem iser. We don't get involved. V'yata rashoy la'atirim b'fneihem. And you cannot do it even though it's mutter, because the minig is not to do it. This is a concept which is many places invoked. Mutter l'chabson, why is that so? Says the Mishnah Berurah. Shekalim lislachlech. They easily get dirty. V'afilu im hayim achabson koydem hamoed. They're perpetually dirty things. What? That was you? Okay. V'gam ein terech l'kabson kol kach. It's not so you're not so guilty, and it's not such a big involvement. So between the two of them, be'etzem it's mutter, but we still don't do it. Fine. Mikamakom kibon de meikar adin shari. It's permissible to do it. Nispash rabilig lahokal litin la'akom l'chabes ksaynes achas v'chutz labayis. You let a guy do one thing and out of the house. Even though generally what's asar Chol Hamoed, we don't allow you to do it with a guy either. Because it's really mutter. Okay? However, what about to give it to a guy to wash after Yontif? You can't count the garments the way that you do normally, then it would be forbidden. Okay.
Wait, so it's like not in Israel, but you can just send things to dry cleaner on Yontif?
I don't think so. I think they're speaking about over here these things that are ba'etzem mutter. These things which are, it's just a minig that we don't do wash them. But regular clothing, which is not kli pishton, it's aser. All right. Sif Gimel. Perhaps I would like to defer from learning Sif Gimel and learn the next siman and then come back to Sif. I think it'll be a better introduction. Okay. On Shabbos, in general, people understand that lamates malachas are aser, but work, we call it burning calories, that's mutter. That's in general true. However, there's a halacha, there's a Mishnah, a whole parak called hamafanim, about people moving things around. You surprised your wife, and you decided you're going to rearrange the furniture in the bedroom or in the living room or the dining room. So besides the shalap kuach nefesh involved, she says, don't like it. Are you allowed to move it around, change it on Shabbos? Mutter or aser? It's always 100%. The question is mutter or aser. Which way? I don't think so.
Pikuach
nefesh.
Yeah, pikuach nefesh. Yeah, okay. If it's
Only Shabbos.
well,
He's not going to enjoy Shabbos anyway.
I want to tell you. I would like to share with you a true story that happened, which is not funny. There was a rabbi who, his first day on the job, first week on the job, he became a rabbi in this modern shul, and the president of the shul was making, I don't know, bar mitzvah, shavuot, I don't know, he was making some affair. And there was the food from the caterer came, and there was a serious shaila on the food, and the halacha is that it's mutter b'makom hefsed meruba. Now there was other food, and the rabbi should have paskin that you can't eat it. That's what he should have paskin, and he paskin that you're allowed to eat it. So someone asked him, why are you allowed to eat it? It's not the hefsed meruba. He says it is so. Because if I'm not matir, I'm going to lose my job. Now, the heter for hefsed meruba was not set on the rabbi; it was set on the What? The owner, the person who has the question, okay? Now, again, I'm not getting involved in the rabbi, in the story, but the bottom line is that it has to be, because you're not going to have Oynig Shabbos doesn't mean that everything is mutter. Now, you're not supposed to be doing things that are tircha, that are work, laborious, physical labor, extensive physical labor should not be done. And therefore we have a siman about this subject. You can't move stuff around from a chatzar to a different chatzar, even though you're going an upgrade in beauty. You're not allowed to move around stuff for no reason. On Chol Hamoed. Why? It's like on Shabbos you're not allowed to. What? Tircha. Correct. Right? No, even though there's no malacha. No, we're not discussing malacha. It's not malacha. It doesn't help. You could do what's called betzina. Again, if it's not before Hesya and it's just a tircha, then it could be that's permissible to be done. Again, we're not speaking about a malacha. We're talking about doing work. So you're not allowed to do work before Hesya, and you're allowed to do extensively difficult work. If you're afraid or you may have a financial loss, you're allowed to move it. Okay, very simple halacha. Why not allowed to do it? Mishum tircha. And no one's going to know about it. Af before Hesya, mutter davar shu yadu of a nikar shu l'tzarech hamoed. I'm allowed to do something if everybody knows I'm doing a l'tzarech hamoed, then it will be permissible to do it. In other words, let's say you're making a simple base of shoeva, and you're taking all the benches out of the shul and putting them into the street. So even though that's before Hesya, you're allowed to do it. Why? Because everybody knows what you're doing. This is tzarech hamoed, right? There's no zilzal hamoed going on. If it's one chatzah, it's not such a big deal in the tircha. V'gamu b'tzina, it's also a tzina. So again, there's some kind of a. So what would it be if it's a lot of tircha? Even if it's a one chatzah, it would probably also be aser. Okay. The bayis hasamach lamuted v'chal tzinahu. Avu mikan ve'elech aser david b'far Hesya. Ubach b'tzared afilu l'bayis hasamach lo ein lefanois v'chein lebir hagra. Im lo shumo v'shein mafulish. We're very worried about people seeing you do work. V'yesh matirim, says Hasif Beis. V'yesh matirim lefanos mechatzer shel acher lechatzer shaloi. Afilo michura mino lechura. If you're moving stuff from somebody else's clutches into your possession, so then you have ezeshu roga nafshit, and that roga nafshit is enough to justify that you're not moving it because you're doing your work. You're doing it because you want to be in control of your things. So this is halacha recognizes this emotional desire. Says the Mishnah Berurah, the simcha la'adam sheyeh ador b'shaloi. You want your stuff around you, okay? V'lefanas ken l'chatzah shaloi ein lahakel, because it's yours anyways. V'dafka boyfriend zeh avo v'bnei shar hano kigon shudor eitzel chaver b'cheder echad v'yachach sochel abayis v'yuchad avo pi shenoch lo yoser. You enjoy being alone. That's not enough of a reason. Da'afilo michura l'no aser miu im dirishana beina akom. So if a person is going to have, and this is a question, I've had this question a few times, and there's a lot written in today's poskim about it. Are you allowed to move diras on Chol Hamoed? To relocate, yes. In other words, I have I'm on Machish 36, and I want to move to Lachish 5. Okay? Can I do that on Chol Hamoed?
I don't think of a heter, not for that.
1 second. What's the Isser? First, why is such a negative fellow? Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm moving now. I'm moving to my own, right? Now, so if there's, when could there be? So the halacha would be, if both were my own, there would be aser. What about if I'm paying rent in one and not paying in the other?
You straight out. You have to move to another place.
Whether you're kicked out, if you're kicked out, then you're not mechuyev to go to the darom. Okay. Okay. So there's a lot written about different tanoim for this issue, but the bottom line is that moving is an issue. Now, I just want to make a statement, which I think is poshut, except for when you think about it. There's no isser for a young couple to go to their in-laws' house, even though they're moving out, because they're not moving out. In other words, even though they're taking all their belongings, that's not called they're not moving out. You understand? Yes. What would you want to say?
I wanted to say I could think of a situation where it seems to me it would be perfectly mutter, in fact, a positive thing to move on Chol Hamoed. Say a person has an opportunity to move from Beit Shemesh and they have a chance to get an apartment in Jerusalem, which is considered halachically an aliyah for a person, isn't it, to move to, let's say, the Old City. So on Chol Hamoed, if that's the only time, for whatever reason, it's possible for them to do it, then it should be a praiseworthy thing to do, I would imagine.
Okay, I'm willing to accept that. I don't think that's a fair question, because then it becomes a davar ha'ovid. In other words, I agree with you, but I don't need to come on to your reason. In other words, if there's something that I want and I can only do it now, in that kind of a situation, and I'm desiring that for a long time, it's like a yem hashuk.
Well, let's say not a development. You just, you want to move because it's an aliyah for you. Don't
know if it's mutter. Don't know if it's mutter. No. Let's speak about a different case. Okay? These are the kind of questions that rabbis don't like, so don't ask me this question. I want to live near my parents so I can help them out because they're elderly, and the dira opened up in their neighborhood. Could I move there on Chol Hamoed? Your kibbutz of aim is only when you're there and they ask you to help you do something to it. You're not mechuyev to. Am I mechuyev to live near my parents so I could do kibbutz of aim? Answer my question.
No.
Okay.
Practically, it's easy.
No, I'm not mechuyev.
Right.
I'm not mechuyev.
It's easy. If they need,
What about I want to move someplace so I can have tefillah b'tzibur?
No, but they need help.
What about I want to move someplace so I can have tefillah b'tzibur? Am I allowed to do it on Chol Hamoed?
No.
You know what, tefillah b'tzibur is a wonderful thing.
So run.
So?
Kibbutz Avim is the rest.
Who says that this is totally in the rights of the Rabban? Why did you make that assumption?
Because there's always a cost benefit.
Yeah, no, but I say, but maybe both are okay, maybe neither are okay. I don't know. No, it's you started off with a something. I don't know what your something was exactly. How you got? I don't know how you got to.
I'm moving to Yerushalayim. It's an aliyah.
So mitzvah d'Rabbanan living in Yerushalayim. It's an advantage. But living in Eretz Yisrael perhaps is a mitzvah. But living in Yerushalayim is a step up. But I don't know if it's a mitzvah over the other way. I don't know what all that says on it, but it's out of my range.
Who's to be connected to? Doesn't, says you're not connected.
Okay. I'm okay not being connected. I'm not such an influential guy. It's fine. All right. Anyways, all right. Now, Siv Gimel is fascinating. Hazevel shebechotzer, otzer lo yitziyoi. You didn't have garbage in your. This is for those who live in America. I don't know what goes on in England, so I can't say anything. You have garbage bins on the side of your house.
Yeah.
and then the garbage come and they collect it. You have to take it to the street.
Right.
That's the same thing in England. Okay, so it's never there. Only in Heathrow. That's it. Okay. Anyways, so I think that it would be usher for you to take your garbage cans. I think that's included in this halacha, to put them by the street. However, if you live in Muncie, could be this different heter. What does it say? Vinis rabba achanase chotzer kerefes. Your backyard starts to become stinky, smelly, etc. Or the deer are going to make a disaster out of everything. Deer, whatever it is. Then motziyim la'ashma, then you're allowed to take it out. But 25 years ago, you didn't have these issues, right? So, seems to me that it's not simply allowed to take your garbage out.
So put it in your own ashma next to your house.
That you're allowed to do. You're allowed to take it out of your house and put it in your garbage bin. And then you're done with it. It's not bothering you anymore. There's some people that have to always, Jews have this disease. They see the garbage truck coming, so they have to go around and collect all the garbage from the, chas v'shalom, you can't put it in separate bags because then you're wasting money. So you have to dump them all together and figure out if you can, right? Okay, these are issues that psychologists deal with, but there's no need, right? When you have garbage, you're allowed to take it out and put it into the side of your house, that dumpster. But most people have enough enough garbage cans to survive the what?
Survive the week?
Not the week. Well, I mean, it could be the week. It depends what your situation is.
What's the problem here? It's tircha. It's not hard.
Yeah.
No tircha to wheel it 5 meters.
So that's called weight. Now, I'm not sure also where you're taking it to. Where I come from in America, the front 10 feet of your property do not belong to you. Is that the way it is in Muncie also? And there's actually
It's called an easement.
what's it called? Easement. Okay.
But that's not necessarily. My parents will bring it right to the
Curb. That's out of your rishus.
What's the difference?
No.
Tircha wise?
There's a street, and then there's where the grass ends. So they'll take it to where either the end of the driveway or the grass. Or just
Like in a city, you have
pavement.
pavement.
For people to walk.
And the grass from the pavement to the street is not yours. You're just liable to deal with it. And from the pavement to your house is yours. That's the way, where I grew up, that's the way it was. Yeah, I don't know what you people.
Not everywhere.
As I said, I don't know. But that's a different domain.
What's enough
It says,
regarding tircha?
what? Once you're taking it to a chutzner, you're taking it out of your rishus. You're taking it to a public place.
So that's already enough.
Now there is a question, just to broaden this thought. When you're measuring in Shabbos, Rosh Hashanah, according to many poskim, the sidewalk is part of the street. That whole area, it's not just curb to curb. It's sidewalk to sidewalk. Okay, but we're not learning Eruvin now, so we'll leave it. Remind me when we learn Eruvin. So I doubt that though.
So to put the garbage at the edge of your property would
So-
not be a problem?
So that could very well be that what does the edge of your property mean? Which side?
For us, we don't have, more rural, so you have grass, you have curb, you have street, there's nothing, so you can go all the way to the edge.
Yeah, but is that what the easement? It's not in the easement. Where is it?
It's still my property, it's my grass, I take care of it.
That's what it is.
So it could very well be that then it's permissible. You're not taking it out of your chutzner. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what here.
Taking it on the other side of the Lachish, they put the new bins within the property for the new in the Shutaf area, and on this side of the Lachish, they put them in the Rosh Hashanah. Those new bins.
Right, so then you'd have a problem, right? Now, it's not really a problem because when you take it out of your house, you put it there straight. we don't have this issue that you have in America, that it's a two-step deal dealing with your garbage. Over here, you take it out straight into Rosh Hashanah. You don't put it on the out. You don't put it in the Cheder Madrigot, right? You don't put.
Okay, so because we're putting it right into the...
So that's fine, because you'll have to take it out of your house and get rid of it. But in America, you take it out of your house, get rid of it, you put it on the side of your house, and then your house is clean, and it can sit there. Right? No, it's not the same. Not the same situation. All right. Anyways, all of this is. I went out of order. Now let's go back to Sif Gimel in the last siman, and you'll understand why I went out of order. Okay. Mevi'in mibeis ha'uman kelim she'en tzorach hamoed. You're allowed to bring stuff from the craftsman that you need for Chol Hamoed. Kegon korah, muksus, v'tzluchis, different kinds of household items. Avol kelim she'en tzorach hamoed, kegon machresha, v'tzemer, v'beis hatzaba, ein mevi'in. Why? Because you have to bring it through the Rosh Hashanah. Right? Vim ein le'uman ma yochal.
Unless he lives in your chatzah.
What?
Unless he lives in your chatzah.
All right. Vim ein le'uman. Let's wait till the end of the halachah. We'll see if you still have your statement. Vim ein le'uman ma yochal. Noisen lo'ischaroi umanichem etzlo. But don't bring it to you. Vim eino ma minoi. And you're afraid if you leave it there, you're not going to be able to get it later. Menichem bebayach hasamuchlo. You put it into somebody else's rishus, but you don't bring it home. In other words, again, we're diminishing the amount of bifarhesia actions happening. Then mefanim l'chotzar acheres. Aval lo yeviyam lebeisai ela betzina. But you shouldn't bring them into your house unless you do it betzina. So in other words, here we have the issue of people seeing that you are. In short, you're not allowed to run your day like you run it on a weekday. That's basically that's what we just learned. Even though there's no malacha involved in what we're talking about, you're not allowed to be running around town. You're not allowed to be doing your thing. Okay.
So getting a furniture delivery on Chol Hamoed?
If that's Tzorach Hamoed, what's your furniture delivery? What are you getting?
Someone ordered a couch.
So obviously you need it, right?
Well, they came before Chol Hamoed.
Well, so, but then you need it for the moed, right?
The circus?
What?
The circus?
If you come to my sukkah, my couch is in my sukkah. I take my couch out of my dining room and I put it in my sukkah. That's what you're supposed to do. Where my parents live, you don't do that because the couch would catch cold in the snow. But if you know, it's what should be done? All right. Anyways, so let's see the Mishnah Berurah. You're not bring things to the uman even if you need them for moed because that's already being involved in that kind of commerce. So ein mevi'in bein uman gomer b'moed or kohen. It doesn't make a difference when the uman finished preparing your stuff. V'atam mishum tircha v'yesham mishum sheyizbu shenosin l'saknu b'moed. People think that you gave it to him to do on moed. V'yomer she'uman tiknu b'moed l'fizeh afilu b'bayis l'bayis v'ayis l'chotzer deleka tircha. Because people are going to be choshid you that you did something which is forbidden. Okay. Because we're going to order of our mitzvah, if you're bringing it ledvar mitzvah. In other words, if the bima is being delivered to the shul, then you're allowed to bring it. Since I have to give him his money, so I'm ready allowed to take my collateral, which is the furniture, whatever it is that I need. And you have to be left high and dry. You can't take it to Bais HaSamuch because they don't want you to be doing any kind of tircha. So we have this tircha, b'farhesia issue, that you have to work them out. Bottom line, make sure you take care of everything before Yontif. That's the bottom line. Okay. Now, what? אלא בציונו לחיות צרכינים, אין לו מה יאכל, למה לא מביאים בפרהסיה? הרי מותר ליתן לו לעשות מלאכה. If a person doesn't have what to eat, you're allowed to give him malacha to do. So why can't I do it for Hesed? וישנם בכל מקום אוסר שהרוי לא ידע שאין מה לאכול, ולפי זה כל שכן שאוסר לעשות מלאכה בפרהסיה. Even a person doesn't have food, if people be choshid, you're not allowed to do the malacha b'prasya. Okay, now we're going to learn a fascinating halacha over here, and this is the crux of the issue which we discussed last time. Oh, I forgot to mention something in Hilchos Kibus. I wanted to discuss polishing shoes. In Hilchos Shabbos, there's a difference between leather and other materials. On other materials, we say shriyoso ze kipusan, which means just by soaking it, you clean it. And in leather, we don't say that. And in leather, just shifshuf, kiskus, some kind of a friction, that kind of cleaning is forbidden to be done on Shabbos. Why is that? Because it has to do with the porousness of the materials. In other words, cleaning kibus, the issur of kibus is taking the dirt out of the material, not off the material. I'll just share with you a fight I had with a friend of mine, who unfortunately is not alive anymore. Nothing to do with this issue. One of the tricks that teenagers have, if somebody put some gum on the seat and they sat on the gum, now you have gum on the seat of your pants. So how do you take off the gum? There's a way better way. Take your pants, put them in the freezer. You can take them off first, right? You put them in the freezer, and then the gum becomes hard, and you peel it off. Okay? Now, may somebody do that on Shabbos? In my opinion, it's an issur d'oraisa. My friend said it's 100% mutter. And we argued about the fact. What happens when you do that? You peel off the gum from the garment, and you can see the stitches. You can see the blueprint of.
It comes
You
out
can see the waffle.
just
You
like
can see a waffle.
It takes it out of the material.
Okay, so he says. So you see, it's only on top. I said, you see, it's inside, right? You understand? No, we're arguing.
About the same thing.
Right? No, right? There's a problem. It's called interpretation, right? So to me, zedavar pashut. That's called it's in the baguette. It's trapped in the baguette, and just listen. We'll be friends in a half a minute. Just wait, okay? What about a carpet? And you clean a carpet. The dirt that's in your shag rug, is it in the carpet or on the carpet? Now, yes, what would you like to say?
I was going to say in regard to pants and the lap, is that if we look at the gum and we see that there's material on the gum.
There always will be.
I don't know.
Always will be.
I don't know.
You don't think so? I know so.
They don't take them.
There always will be. Unless it's a nylon kind of a thing that doesn't have fibers to it, but there always will be. But Echsho, just saying that this is the concept of what's called in, what's called on. Okay? So now, why am I saying this? When a person is polishing their shoes, okay, is that kibus or not kibus?
Well, if it's leather,
Leather.
so it's usually on the surface.
What are you doing when you're polishing your shoes?
Polishing with paint or just oil?
Either of the two.
No, paint. You're actually putting paint.
Paint on top of the dirt.
No, you clean the dirt first. But it
Either you do or you don't.
Probably irrigates a tiny bit into the material, or it wouldn't stick.
What?
Stay there. It probably goes slightly into the wrap.
That's true. Now, does that have anything to do with cleaning?
You're not taking dirt out.
You're painting over a stain on the wall.
Taking dirt
Is
out.
that cleaning your wall?
No.
You just get a clean wall.
Unless they paint it white.
Yeah, we understand?
Yeah.
So most places can say that even though you're cleaning your shoes by painting, by polishing them, you're not
Doing kibbutz.
doing kibbutz. So there are certain actions that are we perceive them one way, but it's really something totally different which is happening. Therefore,
On Shabbos, if I have mud on my leather shoes,
yeah.
and it's not dry mud, it's wet mud, if I'm allowed to wash it off.
You are. I will say, yes. How? How do you wash it off? If you want to spritz water on it and have it come off, that's 100% permissible, as long as you don't bump into any stitching or anything like that. What does that have to do with anything?
Leather shoes.
That's what he said, leather shoes, yeah. So now,
So
we're still friends. What does that do with what we talked about till
We're
now?
saying when we use the rag,
Now, when you use the rag,
that's the
when you're
difference.
going to use your rag on Shabbos, you have a different problem, because then you are being over on Tzeveya. And that's a totally different halacha. In other words, if I will put, there are places that they don't want the Mishnah Berurah to get used up. So after they bind them, they take this clear paint, the spray paint, and they spray it on top of it so that this doesn't get worn out. Okay? Is that permissible to do on Shabbos? No. That's Isser Tzovea. Now, what color did I make it? It's clear. Right? So what was I Tzovea? So the answer is Tzovea is anything, even adding a shine to it. And Tzovea doesn't have to be that you changed its color. Tzovea means that you enhanced somehow with what it was. Okay, so now when you buff your shoes, you're going to be over on Tzovea. That's the same reason you're not allowed to use steel wool on a pot. One of the reasons is because you make it shine. Even though you're not adding anything to it. Just flattening out the waves so that it can get a sheen. But your shoes, when you clean them on Shabbos, if all you're doing is putting water on it so that the mud come off, that's 100% mutter.
Can you take a hose? If it's really, really muddy, can you take a hose and hose it?
Now, I will tell you as follows. The Poskim discuss if you have stitching on your shoes. What do you do about the stitching? So let's leave the stitching aside. You could take a hose and you could do that. Okay? And what I would suggest is, nowadays, it used to be, is there still such a thing as shoes with leather soles? Does that still exist?
Yeah, expensive shoes.
What?
They wear that.
Okay.
Possible to
Now,
find.
what?
It's still possible to find them.
Okay, fine. Okay. Well, that used to be a
Very expensive.
okay. Well, hopefully I won't find them. Anyways, but if you do that to your leather shoes, you're going to ruin them. You don't do that. You don't do that to leather shoes. Okay. Anyways, especially if they're expensive. Right?
Problem with scraping them out.
That's a different problem. That's a different malacha. Okay. Anyways, we're not going to learn all of Hilchos everything in one shot today. We'll try to keep it limited. Anyways, so the poskim say that most poskim say you're allowed to shine your shoes, and there's no problem with that. As far as brushing your hat, again, the poskim are mekel, and there's a variety of reasons why they're mekel, in my opinion. One of the reasons is dust. Your hat is usually dusty, and dust is actually machlekes rishonim, whether you're allowed to clean off dust on Shabbos altogether. And people don't see that as a malacha b'tircha either. So again, we go back into this. How long take you to dust off your hat, to clean off your hat? 30 seconds, whatever. It's not So the poskim, many of the poskim are make
On which day?
Chol Hamoed. Yeah, I didn't. Those are two very, very common questions. I had in mind to discuss them. I didn't discuss them, so we'll just. All right. Now, should we start the next statement? All right. Maybe I'll just say over something else that I saw on washing your. I saw from Rav Wozner's Mako perhaps on washing Terolin tablecloths. I vehemently disagree.
What material is this?
Plastic. Terolin is plastic. What?
Man-made material.
Yeah, and it's stain resistant. Usually, it doesn't need much to clean it. You just can swish it around the water and it'll come off. It doesn't need that kind of a cleaning. However, for a variety of reasons, I think that it's usher. And the only reason why I'm mentioning it is because many times I get asked a question on Pesach. This is a very important kibbutz question. If a person has a new dress, they bought a new dress, and the wine spilled on their dress, and always the Leil Seder comes out the first day of Pesach. It always falls out that way. And if you're going to wait till after the whole Pesach is over, the stain is going to get set in, and you're going to have to throw the dress out. So then, Vadai, you're allowed to alleviate the disaster. So in many cases, all that means, you could soak it. Take your dress, soak it in water for 3 hours, and then it'll get washed off after Pesach. Some things, if you don't clean it right away, I'm not a professional guy, but most stains are not, if you do a minimal amount of making sure that the stain doesn't set, you'll be able to clean it afterwards. Then it's permissible. If it's not, then you're allowed to do it, because then it becomes a dover ovid, and you're allowed to do it. The dress is something which costs a lot of money and a lot of tircha. Okay, so that'll be permissible to be done. But if it's not that, then it has to be forbidden. And many times, just add, as we mentioned last time, you could just clean off that spot. And not only that, I suggest that you clean off that spot. If you're just cleaning that spot, as we learned the last time, you can even use proper detergent and clean it in ganzen totally, because that's not an Isser of Kibbutz, because Isser of Kibbutz is doing the whole baggage. So, in my opinion, you're better off spot cleaning it 100% than deferring it by soaking it. No, Chol Hamoed.
We talked about, though, on Pesach, first night of Pesach.
So on Matzeh first night, you could soak it, or you could spot clean it. Okay, I'll stop over here.
Right.